Hey, it's Jaylen, and yes, it's been a while. Forgive me, but let's hop into this video. I received a question in a very familiar way from a friend, well, a few friends, asking, can you explain what's happening in Israel? Like many of us who may not catch every news story in depth on CNN, we've at least all seen one or five Pray for Israel posts and some detail about this rising death toll. I've sought to find some simple explainer videos of the ongoing situations to share, but I have not quite found the right one. So I decided, let's dive in, let's make our own, and let's give what we can to wrap it up in a bow to simply understand what's happening over there in Israel. Now, context, I'm not an historian by any means. I just know how to gather details and regurgitate them in a way that most people can understand because I'm a consultant by living, and that's my day. Big workshop, big strategies, and then give them in simple language for people to execute. So we're going to have that approach. That just means if I quote something about 1901 and you don't like the detail that I did not cover in that, feel free to add the details to the comments. Feel free to correct it. Feel free to make your own video or talk to Jesus. Either one of those, I don't care, but I appreciate your viewership today. I'm kidding. I do care. I appreciate all your viewership. Make sure you subscribe, like, comment, all the fun things to make sure the video goes crazy for more people to see what we're talking about today because it's important that we know what's going on. Now, we'll jump in. We'll start with the events of this week and then we'll jump back to 1948 for some context. There are differing accounts on the number, but it's reported that between 2,000 and 5,000 rockets were fired at Israel around 6:30 a.m. local time on Saturday by the Hamas. There are also reports of Israeli soldiers, and I saw one about maybe a civilian female who've been captured and are being held hostage as a part of this war. Now, I didn't fact check the civilian female part, so if that is correct, then it's correct, but if it's not, it's not. I'm sorry. Now, Sunday, Israel declared a war in response to the surprise attacks. Israel has retaliated by launching rockets and striking targets in Gaza. I believe before they announced that it was officially a war, they called it Operation Swords of Iron. In the initial 24 hours, there were 313 casualties and 1,990 injuries. Now, off of some of these Instagram posts, you might be asking, because of the lack of detail and differing views, is Israel at war with Palestine? The answer is no. This conflict is specifically with the Hamas and Israel. The Hamas is an Islamic organization whose expanded name translates to the Islamic Resistance Movement. They aren't the official governing body of Palestine, but represent a faction, a significant faction, that opposes the two-state solution. Now, the two-state solution. In the early 20th century, leading up to 1947, hundreds of thousands of Jews migrated from Europe to the British-controlled Palestine. It's crucial to understand that also many of these Jews were fleeing the horrors and the realities of the Holocaust. And furthermore, this region, especially Jerusalem, holds historical significance for the Jewish people. Biblical times, Jerusalem and the Holy Land around it was their home, and God made a promise that this was their land forever. Now, this influx led to tensions. The people and residents of Palestine at this time perceived this as a European encroachment. The initial plan or treaty of this encroachment or this sharing of the land proposed a roughly equal division of the land between Israel and the Palestinian Arabs. However, following the wars initiated by neighboring Arab states and the Palestinian Arabs, Israel ended up controlling about 90, did I say 90? I meant 77% of the territory. It's like a bad divorce settlement right there. But this contention has persisted to present day. Now, there's also this religious dimension to the conversation, which I'll only touch upon briefly. Many Christians believe that Jerusalem and the surrounding Holy Land were divinely promised to the Jews and that that promise is eternal. There's also prophecies suggesting that end-time events, including battles involving various nations against Israel, and the final showdown fight between Jesus and the Antichrist will unfold in this region. Now, given this backdrop, it's understandable why tensions are running high on the ground, but also why there's so many differing views and perspectives from those who are not physically in the fight or who are nowhere near the fight on ground. There's the historical context, there's biblical context, there's reality, there's emotions, there's people who have been removed from their home. There are people who have returned to their home. There are people who don't have a home in this fight, but in reality, this was or would have been their home. The debate over whether the initial partitioning of Palestine was justifiable continues to fuel passionate views on both sides and will forever. So I hope this video gives you a little bit of detail, enough to understand the basics of what's happening. But of course, feel free to go scrub the internet for more detail. But the goal of this was to get you a basic understanding of what we're all seeing on Instagram right now. So hopefully it provided value. If it did, let me know in the comments, like, comment, share, subscribe. And if it brought you no value, or if I'm completely incorrect about everything I just said, also let me know in the comments, because I want to have a conversation with you. I will respond, I'll like it, or I'll learn from each of you who have value to add. Thank you so much. I'll see you soon.